Hi, this is Gil Robles again, and for this video I'm going to do something different. I'm going to invite you to look through my sketches. I normally keep a sketchbook, but what I've been doing for a while now is on my job, I work a 9 to 5. I have an hour lunch break and two 15-minute breaks during the day. And I use that time to sketch. I use that time just to draw. It's my sacred time. It's the time where I close the door to the room I work in. I work in that room or that office on my own, and I have my lunch or I take my break, and I just sit down and I sketch, and I may pop on may put up a YouTube video, or I may listen to music or something like that. But I sketch. I use that hour and most of that hour to just make these sketches. And they're sketches like this. This is a sketch from obviously from my imagination. You see the angry face down on the right, and the man on the upper left. What it was is that's actually a sketch from memory. I saw this man walk by my office door, and as he walked by, what I did was I just remembered the profile. It doesn't look anything like him, but I just remembered the profile and I did this drawing based on that. But this is the type of things that I do. Now they'll vary. A lot of it will come from my imagination, and you know, I think it's important whether you work from imagination or you work from life, just to continually draw. This is the reason why this is such an important time for me, is because I get some things accomplished. You see on this drawing on the bottom, there's a female face. Now, female faces, if I'm not working from life, it's a very difficult thing for me to draw from my imagination. And so that's one of the things that I tackle. I like drawing these extreme faces because I'm having fun. This is an example of another female face. The hair was, which I think is ridiculous here, but it's just a stylized way of drawing the hair, and maybe I should have gotten a reference for it. But other than that, is another drawing where I tackled one of my challenges. This drawing of this man. That later on, there's another sketch of this man in these sketches that I do. And what it is it's actually done from memory. This gentleman was sitting across from me on the train on my ride to work, and I couldn't pull out my sketchbook because usually I sketch someone who's occupied. They're either looking at their phone, reading a book or the newspaper, or they're asleep. So they don't notice that I'm sketching. This man was totally alert, so I couldn't pull out my sketchbook sitting in front of him. I didn't want to be so obvious, so I just remembered. And I took a quick picture, and then that was it. So later on, like I will use photo references, that in some of these sketches. Right here, again, the man on the bottom, these three drawings. This man holding his phone. This is a drawing of the same thing, and this is a drawing of his face on the very bottom right. And what I was doing was drawing from memory again. This was a man who was uh, who was on the platform of a train station that my train had passed by, and I noticed him looking at the phone, looking a little bit, just having some kind of expression of whatever it is that he was reading. So I just remembered, and then I thought it was interesting, and I did it here. Just a fun way of extending, I guess, my visual experiences. Anyway, I don't know what that means, but this is a drawing of based on an illustration that I was going to do, and I also, with my 9 to 5, I work as an illustrator from time to time. I've done illustration work for a children's magazine called Guide, and this was just a study for a figure, and the next one is also this is that same figure for that illustration, and in the illustration I was supposed to depict a worm's eye view, this figure finding a wallet loaded with money on the floor, and what was he going to do. So I know what I would do, but that's different. This is obviously a female figure. Um, a lot of times I'm drawing heads and faces, and from time to time I got to remind myself to draw the whole figure and get something a little bit more in. A lot of times I don't know what I'm going to do. I just know that I need to sit down and I need to draw and I need to think of something to draw about. And so a lot of times I work up from scribbling to get a kind of idea of what I want to do, and it comes out as long as I keep my hands moving. This is some hands up on the top were for a promotional illustration that I was working on, and that's that again from the imagination. And what I try to do sometimes, either this is from a photo, obviously, that this also was part of a promotional illustration that I was working on. But what I try to do is often I would get into this kind of drawing style of these comic book type faces or cartoony type faces. And sometimes I would try to get away from that. And even though it's coming out of my imagination, I try to draw more realistically. Other times I would use a photo reference. This is a sketch of myself from my imagination as I'm walking out the door to go to work. This is obviously from a photograph, from using photo references. I wish I would get more of a chance to draw from life. I don't have that opportunity, save on train sketches. I have, but like I said, I haven't done a whole lot of sketching from life for a while. Most of the time, it's been these quick studies and also from just from my imagination. This is working from my imagination, but trying to get away from that cartoony look. So just trying to push it. This is the same thing, working from my imagination, trying to get away from that cartoony look. And you know what? A lot of these drawings, like I'm not holding these up as great drawings or whatever. A lot of these drawings wind up in the garbage can. A lot of these are rolled up. These are just drawings that I've done on scraps of paper. And that's what I usually do these drawings on, just scraps of paper. There's a lot of paper at the job. And I would make these quick sketches. Some of them I would scan them in and save them because I think that, they were pretty successful. They were pretty okay. Others just wind up in the garbage. Here's a drawing from memory. This was again a passenger on the train. He did not look that sinister or anything like that. I just added that in for fun. This is a photo reference here. This is from my imagination or from memory. You know, this is actually from life. I actually saw this thing walking down the street, and well, obviously it's a dinosaur and not from life. Otherwise, that probably would have been my last drawing. Same thing here. Just sketches from the imagination. And so the one important thing, like I keep saying, it's about keeping my hands moving. It's about continually drawing. This is for an illustration that I was working on. A bunch of people in a car crash, and well, in a near collision. Let me put it that way. It wasn't a car crash because everybody survived. But same thing. But yeah, like I said, it's important to keep my hands moving. There's several quotes or several instances that I think about. One is from the painter Ingres or Angra, however you pronounce his name. He told the young Degas that it's important to continually draw from your imagination, draw from life, just draw lines. He said, draw lines from life, draw lines from the imagination, just continually draw to always keep in practice. And so to me, it's important to keep doing these to maintain a certain skill level, to always keep my hands moving so that, a lot of times art or making or being creative comes in spurts for me. And so, but I can't wait for these spurts to come up to just pull out whatever, oh, how would I put it? Whatever ability that I have to constantly keep in practice. And so that's what sketching is for me. And it's also a way of exploring. It's a way of using tools differently. It's a way of trying out an idea or just a number of things. It's also just a way of having fun, of not taking myself so seriously. And so looking at a piece of paper and say, well, look, if it's not successful, I can toss it out and just forget about it. But I might as well do something with this time and this ability that I have, and just practice my craft. So that's what these are, and um, and that's why it's so important to me. I think of also the Japanese artist Hokusai, who talked about how important it was for him to continually draw, and also how the things that he had done, that he kind of had the same attitude. He said that at the age of everything that he had done before the age of 70 is of no consequence. It's no big deal. He said, but after that, he kept going on in increments about how all the things that he did as far as his artwork was going to matter more and more. He said at increments in terms of age. He said at the age of 80, he would have reached a certain level. At the age of, as he goes on, he finally winds up at the age of 110, where he talks about how every dot, every line will become alive. So that's the level of mastery that he wants to achieve. So and I approach this with the same attitude, is that I want to continually draw, uh, have fun with my drawing, definitely have fun with it, make stuff up, draw from life, draw from imagination, draw from photos, draw from whatever, just to keep my hand moving, and to so that my skill levels will continue to improve. Now, this is obviously from a better paper than I was using. This is from my sketchbook, and that hour I may have used the hour and the two 15-minute breaks to work on this, which is a little watercolor sketch. I keep also a small tin of watercolors and brushes with me, so that in case the opportunity arises, I could make a quick watercolor sketch, um, and that's what I did here. This is another one. I actually have that again here somewhere, where I worked in pen and ink with using the micron pens, and also there it is, the Pentel brush pen, which is a refillable ink pen it's neat to use. It's a watercolor of a painting that I was going to do later on, so this is more or less a sketch of it. This is a drawing done with that Pentel brush pen. Same here. Same here. Uh, Drawing from photo reference. And this is that gentleman on the train who was sitting across from me and who was too alert for me to pull out my sketchbook. This is a lot closer to what he looked like. Again, fellow passenger on the train. And there it is. So this is a tour of my sketches. This is what I've been doing. I have a ton more sketches, and this is what I do. I keep a sketchbook, or more often, especially on these lunch hour doodles that I have here, lunch hour sketches, I basically take the scraps of paper that are around me and draw on them. And that's what I do. So I hope you enjoyed this tour through my sketches. Like I thought I would try this. A lot of people post their videos of sketchbook tours on YouTube. So this is my version of it. let me know what you think. Uh, I'll get back to doing the other videos, but I guess from time to time I will share my artwork if if it seems like people are interested in this sort of thing. All right, thank you very much. Please, if you've not already done so and you like my videos, subscribe, share them as well, uh, and give me some feedback. Let me know what you would like to see or what you would not like to see more of or whatever, but I'm always interested in hearing. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.